Hey friends, happy Cinco de Mayo 2024. It is a perfect day to do a garden tour. We haven't been out here in a couple of weeks, so I want to show you how everything is growing. And a lot of stuff has happened since we put a lot of new things in 2 weeks ago. So let's look at it. So right here is the new garden bed that we put in. I'm going to do a flower and garden update. I haven't had a chance to mulch this yet. The purple flowers are growing fast, and the couple of the really early spring phlox have already started to fade, so I'm going to end up filling this in with some salvias, and hopefully one of these days I will get to the garden center and get some mulch for that bed. And just to show you our newest addition, this is our new puppy Dougie. He's an Old English Bulldog, and recently our 14-year-old Old English Bulldog male passed away, and the void was too big, so we got a new puppy. So you'll be seeing him running around and being goofy in the videos right along with my female American Bulldog, Darla. Alright, spinning around. Just want to show you what the garden walk looks like. So this is the Sirius Blue Sage. It's still going strong. I just watered everything. Everything gets really hot now that the temperatures are rising. In this planter, the purple Angelonia has come back, and the hibiscus is starting to come out, and we've got petunias in here. And the dahlias right now have all bloomed and they haven't flushed again, so you can't see those right now. And this planter is beautiful. This is the Dusty Miller with some of this flaming orange and pink snapdragon, which a lot of my snapdragons have flushed out, and they're kind of struggling because it's getting hotter, but they're not looking as pretty as these right now that are fully bloomed out. And my scraggly looking marigolds have bloomed out again. So these flowers are constantly changing because they're blooming out and having their pretty and ugly stages. So right here is one of our new pedestal planters that we planted with the purple salvia and the fuchsia colored geraniums. And then we've got some buttercup yellow calibrachoas poked in there. And then right here is my Persian lime tree, and I've got some deep purple violets. Let's see, they're called Dream Midnight petunias that are spilling over in this pot. And I've got a strawberry, a berry treasure, and some sage growing in there too. And then over here, my mum is finally flushed out again. It does its thing. It gets real big and pretty, and then it looks ugly for a while, and then I cut it back, and it comes back and looks pretty again. So right now it's being pretty. And this is just a variegated mum I've had in this pot for several years that I got one fall. And then back here in my planters, I've got jalapenos that are putting on in these little grow bags. I've got another little planter here of some of the Sirius Blue Sage with some white pansies, Johnny Jump Ups. The pansies and Johnny Jump Ups are early spring flower too, so they're starting to fade. My beautiful snapdragons that were right here are now, they need to be cut back again and see if they will flush out again one more time before it gets too hot. Right here we've got some of the sedum, the lemon sedum with some of the variegated geraniums and some pink petunias. And this is more snapdragons that are in the middle of flushing out new flowers. And then back here we've got a mum and some pepper plants and some pintas. And in this plant right here we've got a big fuchsia geranium that's just looking gorgeous with this pink sedum, or this lemon yellow sedum, and some of these bright pink calibrachoas. I just watered them, so they're kind of looking a little beaten up with water right now, but they will be looking better here in about an hour. My Japanese plum tree, and right here is another one of the new planters that I planted, the fuchsia geraniums and with the purple sage or salvia, and then this one has a variegated pink and yellow Calibrachoa spiller going on with it. This is just my Meyer lemon tree. And I wanted to show you these planters. So last time I showed you this herb garden that I planted in this big pot was all new, and now it is, the whole planter is full. I've got the dill right here, and in here we've got some cosmos, some marjoram, lots of basil. This is all basil. I've got cilantro back there, Sirius blue sage, some more cilantro in the back, or some more basil in the back, a little rosemary, and that's pretty much it for that one. But it just, you can tell in 2 weeks it's made a huge difference this time of year. That's our little strawberry planter with a purple sage. And then I wanted to show you this other little pot that I planted up with volunteers. I got some some of the red salvia that I grow everywhere in my yard. I got some Swiss chard and some rosemary growing back there, and this dill plant. And in my dill plants in the garden that are really big, I've found some swallowtail or monarch butterfly caterpillars on them, so I expect to see some on these too. They're in the perfect stage and the perfect height to attract. We've had a lot of big orange butterflies flying around our yard lately, and it's really exciting to see the butterfly caterpillars come out and have this great habitat that we have for them that's right on time. So in the green stalk, I have just my carrots still going. I pulled out some of the greens that were fading. Still got carrots and thyme, and then you can see I got strawberries down here that are making. And then right in front of the greenhouse, I've got these hot pink petunias. These are called Dream Rose. So this was a Dream series that I got at my one of my local feed stores. So I got the Midnight Dream purple ones and these Dream Rose hot pink ones, and it's just tucked in with some more basil and a couple of snapdragons. There's a yellow snapdragon and a white one on that side. And then back here, the dahlias need to be cut back some so they will flush out again, but the Calibrachoas are still looking pretty. And I've got white and Johnny Jump Ups in there with those. And then this planter, these blue flowers haven't, these Eurythrium or whatever they are that I got from bulbs, they're supposed to have a big blue pretty flower. They haven't flowered yet, but they're still in there and they're still happy. These red geraniums I need to do some trimming on, but they're looking pretty. The poinsettias are still going, and the buttercup Calibrachoas are happy in that spot. And then the last planter that I have with flowers is right here, and it has the fuchsia geraniums, and then it also has some of these cute variegated pink geraniums in here. Still, the pansies are still hanging on. I've got cosmos, seashells cosmos popped in, and that is it for that planter. And then right next to it is a chives. Got another dill right here, several dills. I could plant them out in different spots in the garden. There's a chamomile in there as well. My seedling towers are empty except for my Rose Rhapsody and Blue Sky Dance salvia seeds that I planted. And I have been fertilizing and watering these, and I want to up pot them to some good soil so they will give me a jump, because they've kind of just been sitting there small even though I've been fertilizing them. I think they just need some nutrient pot and soil to be in. And then right here I just have 2 pepper plants that I have overwintered from last year. And here I've got ginger and the eating kind of ginger that hasn't come up yet. One little sprig has come up so far. And then my pink periwinkles that have been going for years. So I have been doing some hoeing and weed pulling out here in my flower garden. My red salvia has grown a tremendous amount right there. It just lives there, and so far the freeze hasn't killed it, but it does knock it back every year, and then it comes back. And then last year I planted a couple of these Tithalonia Mexican sunflowers over here, and these readily go to seed and reseed themselves. So now this is a volunteer that I got right here, and I'm loving that I have these because a lot of my sunflowers aren't blooming yet and they're still small. I believe that's either a Tithalonia, and that might not be a Tithalonia, that might be a regular sunflower right there that I planted seed. All of my amaryllis are pretty much done flowering for the year. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 more of the Mexican sunflowers back here that I'm just letting do their thing. Some more red salvias, and red salvia, and then the Dusty Miller. So I did poke some more sunflower seeds, the mammoth sunflower seeds back there in that hole, and my canna lilies are starting to come back now. So as these amaryllis die back, these cannas will be starting to bloom. I've got yellow and salmon and red back here, maybe even a pink one popped in. And then right here on this bed I've got my red salvias. I've got 4 of them in here, and some Dusty Millers, and that's the last of the amaryllis, that one of my red and white ones. So I'm gonna have to cut those stalks back. I do have some gladiolas that you can see that are gonna be blooming soon, and some other different bulbs should be coming up soon. And then here is my I don't know what you would call this, burgundy pink, rose pink, climbing rose. It has been in full bloom. My red rose, my red climbing rose, has been blooming down at the bottom, but it hasn't, it's only put on a couple blooms at the top, but they're not blooming right now. And then the white one, I'm still waiting to see if it will bloom. And for all of y'all that like to spot the critters in the video, here's a little critter for you. Sorry about the throat clearing. I'm having an acid reflux flare up today. So in this first bed, I have pulled up most of the onions. There's still maybe a couple in here. But there is a giant collard green that's been in here for a couple of years. A bunch of blue, Sirius blue sage. And then I have this massive dill plant. And here is one of the happy residents. So dill and milkweed are the favorite butterfly caterpillar, especially the swallowtails and the monarchs, their favorite habitat. So this big old giant one I've just kept leaving in here. I planted some more little coreopsis. See, look at that little happy, another happy customer right here. Oh, he flew away. It's a little bumblebee. I planted some coreopsis and a amaranth down there, and on the back side as well, to fill that back in with flowers. And then this bed, I'm still working on cleaning it out. I'm gonna pull everything but the dinosaur kale out and understory plant it with beans. So I'll just go ahead and kind of work my way from back to forth, left to right today. So this was my onion bed. I finally cleaned that whole thing out. It was mostly red onions, and I chopped them all up and froze them in quart-sized bags, and I chopped up the tops and did the same. And what we have here is the Henderson Bush Lima beans. So this year I had the biggest onions that I've ever had, and I think it's because I've been planting these beans right behind them. and for the last couple years. And beans or onions love nitrogen, and beans fix nitrogen in the soil. So I have had my best onion year yet this year. So that was a success. So right here is, I planted, I told you I packed this bed. I packed it as packed as I could get it. On the front is some more of those Henderson Bush lima beans right here. And right here on this first section, against the wall, or in the middle, I've got some Space Master Bush cucumbers. So that is what that is. And then I have some climbing beans. Those Henderson Bush look like they're trying to climb. Climbing beans that are supposed to be climbing up the fence. And then right in the middle I have these tomatillos. And then right here, every so often, I have a sunflower. So there's a sunflower there, sunflower there. This is a tomatillo, and it is starting to bloom. And I've got tomatillos, more sunflowers, tomatillas. They like it in this corner right here. They must get a lot of water. They're taller ones. And then in this front row right here is yellow wax, Cherokee wax beans. And then right behind them, I've got my tomatillas. And then up against the fence over here, these are my rattlesnake green beans. And this bed, let me step back so you can see this bed. This bed is yellow zucchini. And I have been picking off several yellow zucchini off of here. So that's what it's looking like. This is the first time I ever planted squash in this bed. I usually plant tomatillos in here, or lettuce and cabbage. But I've never planted squash in here, so far so good. And I've been fertilizing about once a week with my Dr. Earth bloom booster to see if that will ward off the vine borers. So in this bed, I still got the cilantro that went to seed. I'm just still leaving that right there. I've been planting, there's some little baby cilantro and some bachelor buttons and other little flowers that I planted in. There was carrots, and I pulled most of the carrots. I just left the ones that were small in there. And then I've got a few of these dazzling blue kales that have gone to seed. So I'll be pulling them out soon. And then finishing up this little row right here. In this box right here, I planted snapdragons and other flowers. And this has just got that big giant collard green. And I've got ducks and chickens over here, free ranging, or not free ranging, but they're fenced in over here on this area. And I throw greens to them right over the fence. So we did that with the geese that was over there last year. Down here I got some peppers, and then I got a bunch of collards over here that are going to seed from last year. This weedy bed right here has got one cabbage left that I need to harvest. It's got a bunch of chocolate mint growing in it, but I planted the rest of the potatoes. I had lost some potatoes in here, and then I found them and they had started sprouting. So I may not get hardly any tomato or potatoes off of these potato plants, but if I get double what that I found the seed potatoes, then I'll call that a success. So I have the room, so I just planted them there. This is my Magnolia Sugar Snap peas, and they are dying back now, and the ones that are on there I'm letting go to seed so I can harvest the seed. And then this bed right here, here's my beautiful fennel. Of all the fennel that I grew last year, that is the fennel that survived and thrived. And it's still going. It went right through the winter, right through the freezes. And I need to make some sausage so that I can use some of that. I still have a couple mustard greens in here. These mustard greens are going to seed now. My Swiss chard in here is looking fabulous, And the few spinach plants I had in here are going to seed. I popped in a couple new Swiss chards in the front, and they are starting to take off. And then in the front of the bed, I planted a tomato here, 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 and here. And then I have some zinnias, coreopsis, and some pepper plants. There's some datil peppers right in here, which I want to mulch this too, so I can cut down on the weeds. But these mustards will be coming out soon, and that'll make more room for the tomato plants. Okay, and then right here was one of my potato beds. I pulled them up 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and we have reseeded this bed with white butter peas on May the 2nd. So that's Dixie white butter peas. I need to make me a sign and put that on there. This bed right here is still Morris heading cabbage. There's a broccoli or something going to seed right there, but these big ones are still just being leafy. And next to that, I have one of our first Autumn Beauty sunflower, and it's blooming. Didn't get very tall, but there it is, looking gorgeous. And we have another giant dill plant right here, and this dill is still 100% usable, so I can still pick it and use it and everything. But there's another one of those caterpillars that are the butterfly caterpillars. Alright, and then down at the bottom we got my purple bachelor buttons, and then I cleaned up this little weedy mess, or it wasn't weedy, it was just a lot of greens and everything down here, so I kind of thinned it out some, and I actually found another celery plant that I had popped in here that had gotten completely covered up by that bachelor button and a mustard green that's right there. So now that I'm pulling all that out, it'll have room to flush out and grow, and once I get that mustard out, maybe. So over here in this side of the bed, I planted radishes from seed right there. I poked them in not too long ago on the 7th of April. And then right here is okra, and I planted some beets down there, and then this is all okra. And then I planted some more zinnias, and here's some more collard greens and mustard greens right here. So I really need to pick a bunch of greens and do one more canner load of greens. In this bed right here, I have zucchini. I grew zucchini in this bed last year. I don't remember what I planted in the fall. I might have planted some potatoes in here in the fall. I don't remember what was in here. Maybe nothing. But we are finally getting some zucchini. This has been the last one to start putting on fruit, but I'm sure it'll be the one that outperforms all the rest of them, because last year these plants went on and on and on and produced and produced and produced. And for anybody that didn't see this last time, Dr. Earth Golden Bloom high phosphate, that's that middle number on the 3 numbers on your fertilizer, phosphorus. And this is what I've been using to fertilize my tomatoes and my squash and pretty much my cucumbers and everything. Spaghetti squash, the whole 9. And I do that about once a week. But before we get in that bed, let's go back to this bed. I've got some Buna Mulata peppers, some datil peppers, some Hidalgo poblanos, and some Marconi reds in here. And then this bed has a bunch of basils. This is a cardinal basil, and several different other types of basils, and flowers and daisies planted on this little first row. And that is a flower. I don't remember what flower it is. Maybe a daisy, or maybe that's a different basil, because I got about 10 different kinds of basil in here. And then I got peppers, datil peppers, some zinnias, some of the green night eggplants, and some more peppers down there at the end. So that's mainly peppers, eggplants, and flowers, and basil all planted in there. And that's a new bed that I put in this year. And I keep trying to reclaim this little bed right here from the ants. And I'm going to have to get me some dead bug or something to get those out of there, because they don't want to leave. And then right here in this bed, I've got some gold alyssum and some bachelor buttons, and some zinnias are planted right here. They're just starting to put on their little buds. And then I planted, let's see, what kind of peppers did I plant here? This little side. These are colossal jalapenos. And then I planted those red shelling beans up on this trellis. And right here, I poked in another one of these cucumber plants. I did a couple cucumber seeds, and that one, it is coming up, so I'm gonna try to get it to go on the trellis. So I got beans and peppers and cucumbers and flowers. So there's some more of those shelling beans are starting to run up the trellis. There's some little dwarf zinnias. Here's some more hot cherries and dill peppers. These are the last of the peppers. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to poke them in somewhere or trying to get them away, but they're still there. Right here I had some of the Joseph's Coat amaranth, and there's also a zinnia right there. And that's either a cucumber or one of the spaghetti squash, because I had planted some spaghetti squash in here, but they were already stressed, so they didn't do very well. You can see there's that one right there. It ain't trying to do much. There's some cosmos in here and some more amaranth. I think the soil might not be balanced enough on this end yet. That was a new, this bed used to be only that long, and I extended it all the way out to have a lot bigger bed to work with. And then I just cleared out so far this section of this file cabinet drawer, and it's got flowers in it. And then in that section it just has a cilantro going to seed, but I let it do that because it's beautiful and the bees love it. And then in this little weedy barrel I've got purple potted bush beans, so you can see those in there. I just harvested these, and yesterday harvesting them again. And I got the yellow wax beans in here as well. These are the first ones that I planted. I didn't get a big germination from these, so the plants are getting really big and having a lot of room to be big plants and big producers, so they're making up for it. This was my other potato bed that I just pulled up, and I am getting it ready to plant something else in it, not sure what. And then this back bed I still haven't weeded yet. It's got a lot of volunteer canna lilies in it, but it's got some briars, so I got me some new gloves so I can tackle this bed. And then this last bed, I got it going again, cleaned it out, and it's just got all my overflow flowers. So it's got some pentas, rosemary, chamomile. I planted a lot of different seeds for sunflowers. There's some coreopsis in here, some amaranth in here. I just poked in some more sunflower seeds, and there's some zinnias in here. So this is my overflow flower bed, so this might end up being just all flowers for the pollinators. Another bright spot in the garden, which I am not mad about. And then this is a old pepper thing that I am just composting in right now, and then I'll end up flipping everything and putting some more soil on top and planting in it. Usually I plant peppers there, but who knows what'll go in there this year, if anything. I've got a okra plant right there. I've tucked in some more sunflower seeds, and this is my other spaghetti squash. And I also have cucumbers. So I've got cucumbers that I had planted on this side, And then I had planted spaghetti squash on that side. So, and then also, of course, I tucked in some zinnias and some cosmos. And my sprinklers just came on the other side. But look at this, spaghetti squash. And then on this side is those cucumbers that I planted. The big cucumbers that start with an M, that are like more genus of a melon than a cucumber. And I've got basil in here. And I might have put some of those crooknecks in here. But I noticed that right here I've got one. And right here I've got one. So they were, in the picture, they were green, I think. Maybe they were light green. I'll have to go back and look. But that's them. And I have some zinnias and alyssum. A few more onions I need to harvest right here and right here. Some marigolds. And I had tucked in some eggplant, or a eggplant, right around here. And I don't see it anymore, Chinese string, so that they're just starting to climb up, that cucumber and the spaghetti squash. I'm gonna go ahead and I found a baggie, my baggies that I get, that I put on my spaghetti squash to keep the bugs off of them, the worms from burrowing into them. So now he's got a bag. Found that on the ground coming in, so I was like, perfect. I'll put that on my new spaghetti squash. So that is what the arch trellis, the new location of the arch trellises are looking like. They've got spaghetti squash and cucumbers growing on them and flowers growing all around. And then on this side of this trellis bed, I don't know, I wanted to see, these might be banana peppers. I don't remember what kind of peppers that I planted there. I thought I might have a tag, but they might be more jalapenos or they might be banana peppers. And I think they're banana peppers. And then I got a cluster of zinnias right here that are just starting to bloom. And another one of those Joseph's Coat amaranths down there. And then I just tucked in some little sunflowers and different flowers right there. And moving on to what was the broccoli bed. We harvested all of the celery and now it is reflushing over again. When we got done with this, it was just one stalk in the middle. That was just a couple weeks ago. And so it's growing more celery feverishly. There's a sunflower in the middle. I still got some dinosaur kale, and this is the last of the broccoli that needs to come out. That's the last of a broccoli that needs to come out. I tucked in some zinnias in here, and some marigolds, and some sunflowers, and some of those penta flowers. And then in this little peat bed, I've got my jaguar marigolds, some lettuce leaf and cardinal basil, zinnias, a couple of cucumbers are trying to do something. I did poke in some of those melon seeds, and I don't see but a couple that have come up in there for the cantaloupe or honeydew melons. But there's some more basil back there and a few okra that I transplanted from the other spot. So this bed will be filling up nicely. And then spinning around, I got another cucumber bed right here. I planted a gaillardia plant right here for adds a pop of color. And this gaillardia is actually pretty happy right here because it gets a lot of sun. And this is a drier bed. And they're more of a drier flower. They like the more desert type situations. And so these are the Space Master Bush cucumbers. There might be another kind here or there poked in. I got a lot of different basils right here. Got a lettuce leaf basil. This was our first little sunflower to open. There's another sunflower right there. And I don't know if those are the Jerusalem. I think they were Jerusalem. Oh, and real quick, I've had these dianthus growing in this pot since 2020 or earlier, since I put that statue there. And they are looking gorgeous right now. They're all come out bloom. I don't do anything to them. I just put them there and they take care of themselves. And right down here we got more basil, and we've got, I don't see any, well, I was trying to see if I see any cucumbers on here yet. I see a lot of blooms, so shortly we should be having lots of cucumbers off that plant. So over here, I've not planted anything in this bed. I need to clean all that out. That's another project. Cleaning this whole corner out. It's the joy of having a giant garden, is that there's only so much you can do in a day when you got a life. So this is my indeterminate tomatoes. These are mostly black, Chef's Choice black, and the Better Boy hybrid. And as you can see, on May the 5th, we have tons of green tomatoes. They are coming on everywhere. There's some pink ox hearts in here too, and I believe that's what that was. I was like, why is that shaped like that? There's pink ox hearts in here as well as Chef's Choice black. My marigolds that I planted in here, some of these are volunteer from last year. Got some lettuce on the end. But my sprinklers, of course, they always come on no matter what whenever I'm filming a video. So we'll switch over to this side. This is my indeterminate bed, and there's another one of those beautiful, I think that's ice cream is what that one's called, sunflower. And this is my determinate, so these are Celebrity Plus, Tachi, and Saucy Lady in here. So most of these on this side is Celebrity Plus. Right there I have another volunteer Mexican sunflower. But look at all the tomatoes that we've got on here. We're already starting to get some yucky leaves, but I just relentlessly prune. I know these are indeterminate, so I kind of let them grow as tall and stuff, but as far as the leaves go, I cut them off. And that bed at the end is another tomato. I think it's a Better Boy hybrid, and I have my cranberry beans growing. So they have put on blooms, but no beans yet that I know of. And then here's some more of these tomatoes. So the tomatoes are about 5'6" at their tallest on the indeterminate bed. They're they're a little bit taller than me. And this one's going to be probably one of the Chef's Choice black, because it's starting to have purple shoulders already. And my blueberry plant is starting to put on blueberries. So this is the other side, and these are the Tachi tomatoes. So they're like a plum, oblong sauce tomato from Hoss Tools. And I'm going to try to get this to go in there, that to go in there, and yeah. So this next bed, my daughter dug a hole right under where I am when she was playing in here one day, and I always step in it. So this end of the bed is about to all come out. This is the Dazzling Blue Kale, and it's all pretty much gone to seed. And then the second half of the bed, though, half of it, those are all white butter peas. And then I've got 4 tomato plants. Those are indeterminate tomato plants that are planted right there. And then in the squash bed, this is my my winter squash, vining squash bed that I planted the same kind of thing for several years. On this trellis has been my winter squash. There is a cute little face that's looking for a way to get through to the sunshine. And I'm not sure what kind of sunflower that is, but I'm just happy he's here. So these are the Rampicantes, and I also put some Canadian crooknecks in here, so I might not be able to tell which one is which because they're really similar. This might be a Canadian crookneck because it just is crooked at the neck and then it's straight. So that might be what those are. And then the ones that kind of loop around, those are the Zucchini Rampicante. And I can eat them young, or I can wait a few weeks and they'll be like a giant 3 or 4 foot long butternut squash with a really long neck and a little bulb at the end. So that I grew those last year and I loved them. The vine borers did not mess with them and they did beautifully for me. There's some more. And I did some of those Cozelle squash. I can't never remember what they were because it's the first time I'm growing them. That might be them. Cozelle or whatever it is. I thought those were supposed to be vining squash, but that is clearly a bush. And it's doing okay right there. So there's more of the Rampicantes. It's just loaded between those Canadian crooknecks and the Rampicantes. It's loaded. So spinning around, here's the back side of that big green bed, 6 foot long by 30 inches wide. And there's all the purple bachelor buttons that are everywhere, and the little dill caterpillar. And you can see the tall greens in the front and the okra and the beets right there. And then this bed next to my squash bed, this long one, is potatoes. So these are white Kennebecks or red red Pontiacs. I'm not sure which one. I got them from the feed store. So I had a few. Those are actually, these I planted first, and then I had to wait. So those might be the red New Orleans. These are probably some more of the Yukon Golds, because I was getting the Yukon Golds. I found them at Walmart, and I was getting several bags of them. And so the other 2 beds that I pulled up were Yukon Golds, and that's probably the last of the Yukon Golds. And I had a few red Pontiacs or red New Orleans and a few purple Majesties mixed in there. But these are from the feed store, so they're either red Pontiacs or I think they're red Pontiacs. And so they were planted a little bit later. So as you can see, these guys are almost ready to harvest. They're all dying back, and these are still looking kind of okay. So I'll be harvesting these in the next month. And I also planted, these are some of my late planting ones I planted in this barrel right here. And then I have nothing planted right there. And then back here, where the sprinkler's on, you can see that sprinkler head right there is having some issues. So I'm gonna have to get my husband on it because it is not spraying. That's the good part about being out here. When the sprinklers come on, you know when you got an issue. So, indeterminate tomatoes here. That whole bed right there is full of banana peppers. It's got a couple, those big giant ones are jalapenos that overwintered. But other than that, there's banana peppers in there. I don't know what that vine thing is right there. It might be a cucumber that I planted in there. There's a sunflower there. And then all the way down, that little row right there is indeterminate tomatoes. And then in the last stair step bed, I don't have anything in there yet. So this is the asparagus bed, and I finally decided that I'm going to just hoe this up and start planting regular stuff in here, because I still do have some asparagus in there, but it always just turns into a big weedy mess and we never get to harvest asparagus. So I'm tired of that being a big eyesore and non-productive full sun prime location in my garden. So I think I'm just gonna do away with the asparagus, except for whatever survives me hoeing it up, and start amending it and planting stuff in that bed and using it for regular crops. Spinning around, so I picked or pulled up all my turnips, and the weeds have taken in where the turnips were. These were supposed to be these white and yellow cauliflower, which I didn't think that they were going to make because they don't have enough time. I think it's gonna, oh, look at there. Look at there. So a couple of these are making little cauliflowers. I did not know that. I just came in here and looked, and I didn't see those little bitty cauliflowers. Now, I don't know if they'll grow bigger now that it's so hot, but that's surprising because I would never have thought that I was going to get cauliflowers this late. So these are the fiddler-kraut cabbages, and they're still trying to do something. Sadly, my mustards, my giant red mustards, are going to seeds. They had a little good patch right here, and then on that side over there is supposed to be those green cauliflowers, and I didn't see nothing in them. This was my spring brassica bed. So yeah, I need to try those red mustards and see how much the flavor has changed, to see if they're still worth picking. Yeah, so most of all this bed is done. I'm gonna leave the those fiddler-kraut conical shaped cabbages in there for a little while longer to see until they start going to seed, to kind of see what they're gonna do. I don't have any immediate plans for this bed, so I would like to harvest all that mustard if it's still tasty enough, and I can harvest these greens from these cauliflowers that didn't make a cauliflower. And then in this little bed right here is our green Peter Pan patty pan squash. We haven't picked any of those yet. They haven't grown big enough yet, but there's some volunteer tomatoes in this bed too, and they're actually making tomatoes. But this corner over here, I don't know what's going on. These are not getting pollinated right here on the end, but they have been doing really well, and I've been picking a lot from this corner. As you can see, there's a lot on here. So that's the yellow squash and the Peter Pan. This right here is the lettuce. I can't think of the name of it, but the variegated lettuce that I planted in the spring, and that's lettuce too. That needs to be, these all need to be weeded. This bed right here, I haven't put anything in yet. This bed right here, I haven't put anything in yet. That back bed was a composting bed that I was putting compost in, and it has some pumpkins from fall, and that is what has taken over that corner. Those are all pumpkins. And in this little bed right here are cranberry beans, and then I got spoon tomatoes right here, which are like little, just puts on like a million little clusters of little tiny tomatoes. Sunflower. And then back here I've got some more tomato plants, another collard green. This was all onions, so I'm in the process of pulling out all the onions and weeding this really good and planting something else there. That's my Dr. Witchy. And another one, I need to mulch all this stuff. This is the other onions that are left. You can see they're going to seed. And these are my yellow onions. And I am getting on that as quickly as I can. It took me several days to process all the onions from that little bitty 3x3 bed up there. This bed I planted yellow wax beans, which I've harvested yesterday, and this pumpkin volunteered in there. And back here in the asparagus bed where it's wandering over, there is a little pumpkin right there. So now we're back at the beginning, and that is all we got going on May the 5th. Hopefully our sunflowers will start to jump up and showing their faces all around. I've got a bunch planted here. I just planted a bunch more seeds for some taller ones, and I'm gonna keep continuing to clean out these beds and replant the beds, and hopefully get some mulch soon to start mulching some of these beds. And then once these completely die back, I can clean all that out and plant other stuff in here. So since only a few of my eggplant made it through transplants, I'm probably going to purchase a few eggplant and put in that little planter right there. But that is what we got going on right now. We still got a full garden, stuff coming in every day. It is squash season right now. Squash and green beans is what's coming in. And the peppers, I've just started picking spring peppers, and some of my fall peppers have been coming up, and I can still pick plenty of greens. So pretty soon we'll have spaghetti squash and butternut squash and tomatoes. So I will give you a quick look. It's starting to look a little jungly, but some of these beds that I've got to clean out are from fall that are transitioning. We're still in a transition month for transitioning the old to the new for summer. And then when summer comes, I try to have as many beans and peas and okra and peppers out here because not much else wants to grow out here. Whenever I get the potatoes out of that bed right there, more than likely either the potatoes or tomatoes, whichever one comes out first, I will be planting my Christmas pole lima beans. So that's what we got on May the 5th in the garden. Plenty to do, plenty to harvest. Just keep packing it in. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little long, but I hope you are safely enjoying your Cinco de Mayo. And May is the happiest month because April showers bring May flowers. And I'm excited for all the flowers that have started blooming in the garden. Alright guys, I will end the video there, and I will talk to you soon, and we'll see where we're at in a week or two.